Diamond Tea Events. I'm Tiffany.
And I am Martina.
And we're going to go and give you a little bit of a tutorial today on what are we teaching them?
We teach you how to cover a 6-inch cake with fondant.
Awesome. So decoration is not my domain. I'm just going to take this and go. Thank you.
Bye.
Good day.
Good day. All right. We actually have to have a little bit fondant, which I have right here. And I think this little amount is probably good enough for a 6-inch cake. What you have to calculate is basically the top of the cake and then the 4 inches down. So that's what you have to do. So you measure this part and both of these parts. That's what you need as a dimension.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about the tools you have over here.
Okay, I have a rolling pin here.
I'm starting that end.
All right. We have a little, what you call this, spatula. Okay, then we have a little cutter right here. We have a little smoothing paddle right here, and we have a little bag with
cornstarch.
Cornstarch, exactly. And I just cut out a circle with cloth from cloth and just fill it and put a rubber band around it, and it's just perfect.
Okay, and what is that little concoction right there? It looks kind of gross, but what is it?
This one, it's egg white and water, and I actually, because this is not a real cake, I have to brush this down lightly with it, otherwise the fondant will not stick.
Wait, so you're telling me we're not going to have cake later?
No. So a real cake probably would have buttercream around it or some other icing, which make the fondant stick to the cake. Okay, so all cakes have to be they have to have a crumb coat, they call it, and that makes the fondant stick when you put it over. Fondant is an awesome material. It keeps your cake cool, especially in the summer. You can decorate it so much nicer. You have more, let's say not nicer, but you have more options with fondant to decorate your cake, and it just keeps your cake overall fresh and perfect throughout your whole wedding until you get ready to cut it, or birthday, whatever it is. Okay, all right, so here we have our little fondant. We need to go ahead and knit this really well, because on the beginning when you start, it has kind of a stiffness to it, and it feels really cold to the touch. You want to knit it until it feels like to the palm of your hand, like body temperature. And you feel throughout your knitting that the texture change, and it gets smoother, it has more elasticity to it, and then you know it is ready for you to roll it. Okay, if you don't do this step very well, and it's really tiresome, this is something I don't really like. This is not my favorite, and I try to hire Tiffany to do this, but she's not doing it. So I get stuck with it. I get a little stuck with it. So you have to do this step, really important, okay? You skip this step, you will have cracks in your fondant. It will not look very pretty, let's say it this way, okay?
The only time she actually gets me to do is when I'm feeling upset and I need something to beat on. Exactly.
Okay, so it feels really nice. What I do now, this is a rubber mat, by the way. I got this nice, yeah, it's like a rubber mat from silicone mat from Fat Daddy use. I love his stuff. So, and oh, little advertisement. I hope he pays me. And there you go. And I pat this down, and it's not like the fondant will stick to the mat. But what happens is when I roll this, the fondant can stretch easier over the mat. Okay, so I'm going to do this. A little bit on top, I press this down. Okay, now I'm going to roll this pin back and forth in the beginning, and all with the same pressure. Okay, and as you can see, I'll use my arms with it, and then I roll. I take this to the side. Do the same thing, so we don't get this stop and go kind of thing going on. So what I usually do is I put a little bit more starch on top and I flip it around. So a little bit here. Do the same thing again. And I usually don't roll the fondant constantly. I actually take the roller and I glide it over it just like this. What it does is it makes the fondant even all the way around. So I think this is pretty good right here. Okay, there you go. I take my little egg white and water and I brush my little styrofoam cake, which Tiffany cannot eat. Just a little bit. Remember, you will have icing around it or buttercream. Now to lift this part, now this is a small cake, so it's a little bit easier, but I'm going to show you how I would actually handle it also with a big cake, okay? I take my rings off because they will tear your fondant. I glide underneath it, I put it over this arm and I flip back over, and then I glide over it, and then I lift this and I carry it lightly over the cake, even it out a little bit. Then I take my hand, press out all the bubbles. There you go. Then I'm going to take my fingers really, really lightly, not hard at all, and press the edge onto the side. And use this part of your fingers because it's a nice groove, and then you press it onto it. So this part is actually on the edge, okay? And what you're doing is you have to do this step. If you don't, it will tear. Because I like to roll my fondant really thin. And then I press it down. And try not to go this way constantly. Try to go up a little. Down and up, or in circular motion. You have to fan it. Don't be afraid to fan it. If you don't knit your fondant on the beginning, you will not be able to do this as easy as what we're doing now. Okay, there you go. Perfect. A little bit up. I use the palm of my hand to smoothen out the edge of the cake on the top. There you go. Looks pretty smooth to me. Bottom looks pretty good. I put a little bit pressure now more to the edge of the bottom. Now take my little paddle here and I go up and down like this to make sure it's really good and nicely attached to the bottom. And I have to tell you, covering a styrofoam cake is a little bit harder actually than having the real thing, because you don't have that weight what keeps the cake down. So now I have it, and then you just run the paddle one more time around, make sure there is no bumps. Okay, then this device comes in handy. You just run it basically around on the edge. Not too much. There you go. So it's not perfect on the bottom. So I take this petal again. I'm going to take it in an angle. There you go. I take my little palette knife here and just very lightly go underneath it, just like that. Just to make sure there is no other imperfections. Alright, so here we are having our perfect little covered cake ready for decoration and for everybody's enjoyment, if this would be a real cake. So what do you think, Tiffany?
Wonderful.
All right, thank you for watching, and we hope that you guys tune in next time with us to learn other steps, maybe flowers,
Maybe I'll bake something.
maybe pirate ships, maybe you bake something,
Mm-hmm.
you know, who knows. So
All right,
thank
guys.
you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.